What's up, everybody? Welcome back. This is going to be a really quick video to show one roll that I shot last week of a singer, and I shot it with the flash on top of the camera just like this. It's a Nikon SB600. I'm going to put a link in the description of the PC connector because I've gone through a lot of them, and this one is by far the best. It's super cheap, but it's built really well. And this is the number one thing that that makes the hookup real consistent. The cord fits so tight in here. It's got a metal bottom, and it's constructed really well. So I really highly recommend this. Just a quick side note. Anyways, so all the pictures I'm going to show you were taken just like this. And you know, I've had a couple of these wood grips, and I've noticed that at least on one of them that I had, the mount on top was kind of like offset a little bit, pointing a little bit to the left of the lens. I'm not totally sure how much of a difference that makes, but I loosened the grip a little bit and just turned the top just slightly so it's angled towards the lens a little more. If you can see, that's just a little bit skewed this way. And I think that helps focus the light a little bit more, like right on the subject. It also makes just a slight little, just barely noticeable, like shadow on this side of the face. And I've noticed that when I turn somebody's face this way, it makes a really, really nice shadow on this side of their face. It's subtle, but it's better than the flash being right here on top of a new camera. Anyways, so flash with the Pentax X7, how do you use it? So let's just run through it real quick. This is what I do. So I compose the shot exactly how I want it. I either have my assistant or the subject hold the meter under their chin. It has to be right under their chin. If it's even just like maybe 6 inches in front, it's just not going to be right, especially when you're dealing with skin tones, which we'll get into a little bit later. But yeah, so I have my assistant or the subject hold the meter right under their chin. I compose a shot so I know exactly how far I'm going to be. This is why I don't do the metering, because, or like set my camera on a tripod. I like to stay exactly where I am, especially because I shoot wide open a lot, like 2.4. So you've got like maybe that much depth, and if you move at all, and then forget to refocus, something like that, you're screwed and you're wasting film and everybody's time. So anyways, compose a shot. There's only 2 settings. Make sure you're on 30th of a second. Get your aperture how you want it. You know, theoretically, you should have an idea of what you want this photo to look like. Do you want lots in focus, hardly anything in focus? This is what I love about having a fully manual camera, is that there's no auto aperture, auto shutter, or anything like that. You have to come into the scene knowing what you want. You know, how much depth of field do you want? So there's only 2 settings, 30th of a second and what aperture you want. After that, you have your subject or your assistant, if you're lucky enough to have one. Hit that button right there. It will wait for the flash. And bam. I got lucky on that one. 2.4, 30th of a second, ISO 100. Exactly as I hoped. I swear I didn't practice that beforehand. And so there you go. I mean, it's just that simple. Now, oh damn it. There is one more thing. If you're new to using a flash, one thing that you need to remember is that meter is telling you the right setting for gray. So look at that. I'm a pretty tan dude, and I'm nowhere near as dark as 18% gray. So, you know, there's a lot of, just about everybody out here talks about how you can overexpose film by 2 stops or 3 stops and blah blah. Fuck that. nail your exposure. I mean, it's so crazy to me that it's like people who shoot in RAW and say, "Well, I can just change the white balance later." How about you do your job right in the beginning and save everybody's time and your own time? Spend more time shooting and less time editing. This is what's telling me is 2.4. So you have two choices at that point. You need to make the exposure darker. So you can either step back, and that will not expose the subject quite as much, or you can lower your power. Either way, if you want that skin tone to show actual detail, you need to have less power popping on there. So you need to keep that in consideration. You can't change the shutter speed. That won't change anything. So you either need to change your aperture or change your distance, and that's really the only two options there. Vice versa, if you're shooting someone who's really dark and you get a reading of 2.4 and they're darker than this, what do you need? You need more light. So you need to add power or get slightly closer and then re-meter again. And that's it. I mean, this girl who I'm going to show you, she has pretty light complexion, but she's got some pink rouge on her cheeks. And I wanted to get all that saturation out of this Ektar 100. And so whatever I metered her at, I underexposed by, not a full stop, but maybe a half stop or something like that. It all really just depends on their relationship, their skin tone in relationship to gray. So that's about it. Please leave me any questions in the comments. I'm happy to answer all of it. I want there to be better photography for you guys out there. Getting all this math and all these numbers right, it takes a lot of time, and sometimes you get it backwards. Once you get it, then you can spend more time composing and being creative, and less time sitting there doing, looking at charts and numbers and stuff like that. So that should be the goal, is to get to the fun, creative part sooner than later. And getting all this math and distances and figures out of the way, and getting it, like knowing it at the back of your hand, really helps a lot. So anyways, enjoy. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll talk to you later. Bye, guys.